Hey everyone, how's it all going? Wow, can you guys hear me? This is my first time doing a live stream, so quick mic check. If you can hear me, just say you in chat, a quick you. I see one you. I see a couple of you. So I'm assuming you can hear me, but welcome to my first live stream. I think there are going to be some, more people rolling into the live stream as we go along. So we'll just wait till everyone joins in until we kick off nice and proper. But Charlie Bender can't hear me. You can. Okay. I think most of you can hear me, but if you're hearing any issues, if my volume's not any good, just give me a shout in the chat. I'm doing my best to read along as we go. So yeah, thanks for dialing in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks. It's good to, know that even if the world is, going crazy at the moment and there's this whole lockdown and that sort of thing, and there's a lot less surfing and a lot less bodyboarding going on, that we can still get together like this. We can hang out. We can have some, a bit of fun and share some good vibes around. So that's kind of like the whole point of this live stream, really. I think because I have a lot more free time on my hands nowadays, I just wanted to make sure that I don't lose sight and I don't, miss out on, chatting with you guys and staying, connected and having a chance to answer questions, see what everyone's up to, and let you guys know that I'm doing okay as well. So today's session, I want to cover off three main topics while answering questions and answers all the way through. I want to tell you a bit about this next month and the month after, when there's going to be a lot less surfing going on. What the hell's going to happen with the Willy POV YouTube channel? I've got some ideas in mind. I want to run it by you guys in this live stream and see what you think. And we might, adjust the content. We might adjust the content plan based on your feedback. So it'll be cool to see what you think about that. I want to tell you guys a bit about what I've got planned after we get past the whole coronavirus situation. So, obviously, everyone's really focused on making sure their families are safe, you're all safe, and we're doing the right things to try and flatten the curve, all that sort of jazz. But, I think it's good to start focusing on some positives and what's life going to look like after, we get all past this. So I've already got my my cogs churning about that, and I want to share that with you, see what you think as well. And at the end, I just want to give you a general, status update, tell you what's going on with my life, what I'm doing to keep busy with my days and keep myself occupied, and what I'm doing instead of bodyboarding. So we'll talk a bit about it as well. But yeah, let's just do a quick check-in on who's joined in. So scrolling up, I'm not going to say hello. I'm not going to be able to say hello to everyone because there's a whole bunch of you joined. Thank you, by the way. We've got about 60 people on. So shout out to you, Ben Jack's Gameplay, Charlie Samsa, DJ Zombie, Craig. Happy you're here, Asta. Holy cow, there's a whole bunch of you. Australian Hacker, Joshua Burma. Joshua Burma, do a kickflip. Sorry, I'm not Tony Hawk, so definitely can't do that. Jared Lindsay, a whole bunch of you guys. Big shout out to you. Thanks so much for joining. So I'm gonna glance at the chat and try to follow on the questions that you're dropping as I'm chatting, but I might not be able to get to all of your questions there. Hey, if you want to support the channel, you can actually do sort of like a, what's it called? Well, there's like a highlighted chat thing that you can do. There's like a $ donation feature there. So if you want to get your comment highlighted and do a little bit to keep the channel, do a shove it. Hey, look, first off, I can't skate at all. I can do very little other than to lie flat on a piece of foam and go down a wave. So there's not much else I can do outside of that athletically. I used to be able to play basketball a bit when I was in high school. I used to be part of the state, kind of like a state rep team. What else could I do? I used to swim in squad every morning as well. I think I was in silver squad, which is, not the greatest, but yeah, so I can swim a bit. I can play a bit of basketball. I can't skate. I can't really, I can't surf at all, but I can bodyboard a bit. That's pretty much it. So you're not getting any kick flips or shove it's from me, unfortunately. Montgomery Tipton, thank you so much. Thanks so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Love your green little dog profile pic, by the way. That's unique. Anyway, so first off, April content. I finished up my Bali bodyboarding trip at the start of March. So everything you've been watching has been sort of like paced out content from my trip back then. I landed in Bali on the 1st of March and I flew out on the 9th of March. So ever since the 9th of March, I have been back in Australia, and I got back in Australia just before the lockdown started to happen. So I was lucky enough to skip out on the quarantine stuff and any issues with my flights and that sort of thing. While I was over there, that was looking a little bit sketchy because some of the other campers that I was visiting Bali bodyboarding with, their flights were being changed on the fly and they had to reschedule a lot and that sort of thing. So yeah, but I got back in before that. So I had a chance to, when I got back to Australia, before things started to kind of go haywire with the infection rates and stuff, get a week's worth of good surf out. Like I surfed for like a week nonstop. Because we had like a week of swell that was about anywhere between 3 to 5 foot easterly direction, perfect west to northwest wind. And I cannot wait to show you some of the videos I got out of the sessions of that particular week. So there's going to be about 3 or 4 videos dropping from that week of surfing throughout the month of April. Cronulla is, for folks who aren't in Australia or in New South Wales, Cronulla is about 1 hour south of Sydney. It's where Shark Island is. I didn't surf Shark Island, but I surfed a place that's very dear to my heart. And I think a couple of you guys have been chasing me to revisit this spot since I surfed there about 2 years ago. So I did that. And I also visited some other local slabs in my hometown, tucked out of sight in a national park nearby. So yeah, look forward to that content. That'll come out over the course of this month. Thank you so much, Sean Bloxy AU. Thanks for the donation. Really appreciate it, dude. And also thank you to Freddie. You live stream goes today. I'm glad to see that a decent chunk of people join. I think we've got almost 100 people join from around the world. I've seen people from California, from my local hometown as well, from where else? I think I saw South SA. Someone said South Africa, I think. So some folks from South Africa there. Maxell Snapper Rocks, Craig Phoenix, you're asking me to come back to California. Yes, I will when there is surf. And yeah, someone from Melbourne there too, Montgomery. Shout out to you. So yeah, we'll see how today's live stream goes, and if you guys like it. If you guys think it's worthwhile and it's kind of okay, we might do this on maybe like a weekly or like a fortnightly basis just to check in with each other, and we'll see what interesting topics and themes we can put up for each of these live streams. So that might happen throughout the course of April and a little bit into May as well, depending on how this whole coronavirus lockdown situation goes on. But yeah, so that's kind of like my plans for content. Any thoughts? Like I'm going to jump into the chat now, but if you've got questions or ideas for content, now's the time to start posting like crazy because I'm going to start reading and doing a bit of Q&A on that. Let's see. Goat Eater. Whoa, you are a little bit aggro, aren't you? I'll keep you in here because, while you seem to have a chip on your shoulder, I do not, and I don't live in Lisbon anymore. So, get on surfboard, Willy from Ethan Sekak. I've been getting that comment more and more lately, and you might have seen in my last Bali bodyboarding video, the finale episode, I started to try to do a little bit of a stoogie, which is basically a stand-up boogie, a stand-up bodyboarding. That's what stoogie means, and I got a few tips from Ryan on that, just to kind of get comfortable with the idea of standing up, and I liked it. It was actually, it made me feel like I had no control of what was going on with my body in the wave, because it's so different, paddling around and just these are the only things that you can use to get around, to try to paddle in on the wave, and your legs are pretty much useless. Either that, I'm using my legs wrong when I'm paddling into a wave on stand up. So I like that, and I think that's motivated me to maybe pick up like I don't know what you call them, but they're like it's like a foamy surfboard, but not like one of those massive ones, but like kind of like in between like a regular size foamy and sort of like a bodyboard. So I'm thinking of trying to do that. So if you have any ideas of brands and stuff I can pick up, feel welcome to drop me some comments in there. DJ Zombie, oh, thanks so much for the donation, man. Really appreciate this. Let's read this out. Bro Willy, such a sick guy, and your videos have always been awesome. Hope you are keeping well and positive. Love you, bro. You too, man. I think you've been a long time follower for now. Like, at least I think I've seen your comments around in the last. Not only keeps me going, but has brought me back. Because you guys know I took a year off of bodyboarding as of last year to deal with some personal things, and yeah, I miss this. I miss talking to fans, getting ideas, getting some harsh criticisms and feedback as well from fans as well about my bodyboarding. But I think that's all led me to get a little bit better, not a whole lot, but yeah, it's kept me going. It's given me goals to look forward to. But yeah, so what was I doing? Yeah, reading for questions about content. Let's see. What do you do? I've got a lot of I'm getting questions from a whole lot of random questions. So I'll just answer some of these. So let's go to Patty Weathers first. And I'm sorry, guys, if I missed your question earlier on. The chat's moving pretty fast. But Patty Weathers asks, what stuff do you use, like wetsuit, boog, things like that? Good question. So you might see in the background, I've got some props set up here. So I got a lot of different equipment because I don't really settle down into one piece of equipment at all. I like to try out different things, but things I've come back to a lot more and more. So the first thing is, in terms of board, this board here, the Hardy Shape, what's it called? Punk Boog, I think it's called Black Punk Boog. Yeah, so I just got this because I like it's not too straight and it's not too round and it's not too fancy as well, which is it doesn't sound like I'm selling it very well, but I like the simplicity of it. Like how it does what I want it to do, and it's durable as well. So it doesn't weather or break that easy. It's a very solid PP core, one stringer, but no bells and like no fancy quad channel or anything like that, which is actually liked in this board. This board has helped me pull off more spins that I've ever been able to pull off on any other board. So that's kind of like a plus of having this board. So I like this. I also use this board too. Well, I used to use this a lot more a couple of years ago when I was bodyboarding before my break. But this is just a cute. What is it? A VS custom made board. I got this custom made when I was in my 2018 Bali bodyboarding trip. And it's basically the Ben Player template, so nice and straight. Ben Player makes a lot of, has a template in his NMD bodyboard range it's very, very straight and it's built for speed. This one does have the quad conclave, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 channels and some ribs going down the middle. So the idea around this is that there's more areas and channels for water to sort of gush out and allow you to get a little bit more speed as a result. But honestly, I don't really notice that much of a difference from riding this and my Hardy Shape, and it's probably because I'm too crap to notice a difference. So yeah, that's been a board I like to use as well. I've got a whole bunch of knickknacks here, and this is just my other equipment. I don't ever use any other fins except for these Mike Stewart Vipers now. So I think these are just MS Vipers. I don't think there's any other sort of like code or anything to it. But yeah, standard MS Vipers. These have been around for ages. Reason why I like them is that they're nice and soft in the pocket, nice and practical as well. You've got a little bit of like a non-slip grip on the bottom here. So when you're walking on rocks and reef and stuff to jump out or to get back out to the surf if you wipe out on the rocks, then these help you get a little bit of attraction. But yeah, the main thing is that they're comfortable and they do what I need them to do. And you can see that I've given them some pretty darn good loving. So yeah, I use these fins, but I can spend all evening talking about the kind of gear that I wear and use, but we might move to some other questions before going into that a little bit more later on. Let's see, Benjamin Gary, come down to, you said Port Macquarie. The chat sort of got away from me. Port Macquarie, yes, I will. I'll put that on the list of the dozens of other places I need to go to. DBX Days, oh, thank you, man, for the donation, $10 donation from you. DBX Days says, hey, Willy, keep up the amazing work. Love your videos. You have grown so much as a bodyboarder and are getting better by the day. Love your whole attitude. Thank you so much, DBX. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really like that because you guys know you've been following my channel for a while now. I do not profess to be like any good at bodyboarding whatsoever. I haven't bodyboarded for that long. I've only bodyboarded for a few years now, on and off, if you count that year off last year. And yeah, it's just not really in my DNA to kind of like show off or do stuff or like brag about stuff I'm not really good at, or about anything really. So I just want to, the reason why I started the channel is to, number one, find a hobby to start exercising with and to share my experiences with other people, and secondly, to kind of like for myself see my own kind of growth and learn from that, and get some tips from other people and see what other people think about that. I thought I was like in the minority, like people who aren't that great at bodyboarding, who just want to get out there and have a go and share that with other people. I didn't think there were a lot of people like that out there. I thought it was all about getting sick barrels, getting shacked off your mind, and posting like these amazing, videos and content, busting out these massive moves, pro bodyboarders, competition riding, that sort of thing that you see. I tend to see more content like that. But what I found when I started posting these kinds of videos is that there are heaps of people like you, like all of you guys are kind of like, in the same boat as me, to varying extents, mind you. I think a lot of you are better than me at bodyboarding, but it's allowed me to feel, a lot more comfortable with myself, and a lot more excited to share more and more about, how I'm going with my bodyboarding, or just how I'm going in general, and getting out and sharing my love of getting out in the water and, just having a good time. So I appreciate that. Thanks, DBX, again for the great tip and the great shout out. And yeah, that's a little bit more about me, about what motivates me about doing this channel and doing what I do. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Kick Goat Eater. Oh, it's that dude that that salty dude. That's okay. I love anyone, the haters, the fans. At the end of the day, even the haters are giving me attention, so I must be doing something right. Let's see. Whoa, Mitchell Fell. Hey, Willy, I've been watching you for a while now. I was wondering where the surf spots that you surf are located. Ah, okay. Well, if I told you that, Mitch, well, I'd love the idea of sharing my experiences and my journey in all the details as possible. If I start sharing the locations of where I surf, especially the ones that are considered like local surf spots, I will have bricks through my car windows and my tires slashed and all sorts of things happen to me. So there's kind of like when you start discovering the lesser known spots of your local hometown, the lesser known breaks like novelty reefs and the local slabs that not many people know about, not many tourists know about, or visitors to the locale. It's kind of like an unspoken code that we're all supposed to do what we can to keep the knowledge of that to a minimum, and share it with your mates and that sort of thing where possible. But perhaps not a good idea to post it on social media and stuff broadly. So I'll tell you what, if I run into you in the surf, be more than happy to, take you on we'll go with you to those spots here and there on the odd occasion, but I probably just can't talk about it broadly. I'm sure it's the same for spots in your local hometown as well. They probably a good idea to keep them on the down low. Okay, so it's a lot of people getting distracted by Goat Eater. All right. Sorry, Goat Eater. Might have to catch up with you another time, but you're just too distracting. Piss off. Thanks. Bye. Static VV and Shory POV. Thank you both for the simultaneous donations. Static VV, hello from UK's. Any tips on duck diving? And then Shory POV, love your Willy, local coastie born and bred. Yoo-hoo, yeah. So I've been on the coast for over 25 years now, so I'm definitely a coastie and definitely in the same bucket as you, Shory POV. And Static VV, any tips on duck diving? I think there's heaps of people in the chat that have a lot of great tips on duck diving and stuff. So if you guys know, so you've got like a little trick or a method that helped you duck dive better, quicker, and more smoothly, do drop your tip into the chat, so not only Static can learn from, but all the other people who inevitably are trying to learn, might be learning how to duck dive better, can get that tip too. For me though, I duck dive like a kook because I was a kook for a long time, for like 2.5 years nonstop. I couldn't really get it until I realized, like, when people kept telling me, oh, you gotta put your hands up on the board and push the board down and then put your knee on the board, and when people were telling me all that, I was like, that was a lot for me to think about, and like getting my hands and pushing my hands down and getting my knee up and then trying to figure that out while this massive wave's coming towards me. The thing that clicked for me though is that the whole idea of duck diving is that you want to get the most buoyant part of your body or whatever is on you underneath the wave, so the wave doesn't catch that and throw you over. And the most buoyant part about you when you're out in the surf is your board. So as soon as you understand that you want to get your board down, like shove it down underneath the water and hold it there as steady as possible while the wave is passing over you, the more natural it's going to become for your hands to push down as deep as they need to go, for your knees to get on your board in the right way to keep it steady under the water, and for your whole body to follow your board under the wave. So long story short, the headline of that is that you want to get your board down under the wave and follow your board down under the wave so it doesn't get caught, because your board is the main thing that's going to get caught by the wave if it comes over you. If it's too high up, then you're going to get caught and you're going to get pulled back, and you might get under the wave a little bit, but you're going to get pulled back, several yards, which constantly and it still kind of does happen to me now and then. So yeah, focus on trying to get your board under the wave at all costs, and everything else will fall into place. Far out. I am taking a long time answering some of these questions. Sorry, guys. I think I just have too much to say, but let me try to get in there and try and catch up with things. Craig Phoenix, thank you for the donation, dude. Please tell us when you can come back to California. Oh man, I'm so bummed that the time I decide to visit the Wedge, to visit Newport, and the time that I had everything perfectly planned. I work in a company where the headquarters are in San Fran, so I time my business trip so I can spend a little bit of time in Newport on the way back home. I caught up with that other bodyboarding YouTuber, Man of Water, or Mike Lucas, I think his old name was called. I don't think he posts much content anymore, but a lot of you guys, if you follow bodyboarding and if you watch bodyboard videos on YouTube, you know Mike Lucas. So coordinated with him, we had like plans to bodyboard together and to do a collab and stuff, and when I get there, everything's just flat. It's absolutely flat, and that taught me a really good lesson that before flying thousands of miles across the planet to surf a wave, probably good to do a bit of research ahead of time to figure out when the waves break in that location. So Yeah, I cooked that one massively. But when the COVID situation dies down, when I get more business trips that take me to the US, I will plan visits to the Wedge again, to Newport, to that area, maybe to San Diego as well, because I've got a couple of mates over there too, to do a bit of surfing around there. So I'll let you know before that happens. Okay. Ooh, I'm not doing good with catching up with these questions. Mitch Fell, come to Copacabana. I'll show you some spots. Oh, Mitch, there is one spot that I've been keen to try around Copa. I won't mention it, but you know what it is. It's like this local novelty wave around the corner, if you know what I mean. That super shallow, super sketchy, super close to the rocks. I want to get it, but I just can't figure out what the conditions are for it. So I might take you up on that. I might take you up on that offer to just to surf that wave. Okay, all right. I'll answer 2 more questions before I get back into talking about the next thing, which is like I want to tell you guys about what I'm planning to do after this whole coronavirus situation dies down. But a couple more questions. Ted Sertori, thank you so much for the donation, man. Appreciate it. What you do? Freddie, what do you do for work? Okay. So I am what you call a HR manager at a company in the city. So for people who don't know what HR is, it's called human resources. It's basically the guy at your company that helps out with sometimes hiring people, supporting them with people-related matters, their performance, how they get paid, how they get rewarded, and how they depart the company if they're gonna leave the company in the future. So that kind of job. Nothing really to write home about. It's yeah, it pays the bills. Let's see. What's your okay? Ted Sertor. Oh, I think I've answered a question from you before, but look, this is a question I get. I've seen a couple of times in the chat now. What's your favorite beach break on the East Coast? Beach break on the East Coast. So I think beach breaks on the East Coast are pretty safe to share, but so far, my favorite beach break on the East Coast has been a place, and I've only scored it once, pretty good, but a place called Pelican Beach, which is a wave in my hometown. But I think this wave is pretty fair game. It's not really like a local secret or anything like that. But the thing about Pelican Beach is that it works really good on a low tide. It's got really, really nice sandbanks. When it's actually working proper, and it gets nice and wedgy. The water is crystal clear too when you can get it on a really fresh day. So I scored Pelican Beach 2.5 years ago. Good. I didn't get good footage of the surf because my session ended abruptly when I wiped out on a wave. I headbutted my camera. I had my GoPro camera mount in my mouth, and that bumped into my bodyboard in front of me, and the mount it lost its rubber, so there was just like a sharp bit sticking out there. It pierced through my lip, and my face just started erupting in blood. So I had this face full of blood. But at that time, I was out at a really decent session at Pelican Beach, and I just had to go home and plug that hole. So yeah, that's why I remember that's why I remember Pelican Beach. Good wave, but even when I did score on a good day, I didn't really get the most out of that. Yeah, so that's my favorite one so far. Who's your Daniel Peacock? Who's your favorite bodyboarder? This is an easy one. Ryan Hardy. Ryan Hardy is my favorite bodyboarder, and there are a couple of reasons why. Not only is he a sick bodyboarder, but I just love the vibe that a retired pro bodyboarder / coach now like Ryan brings to any time you hang out with him, whether that's sharing a meal with him, chatting with him, out in the surf with him, waiting for waves. He's just a super friendly and giving kind of guy, and you don't get a lot of people in professional sports as a whole like that. Like when you get, like, this is my assumption because I'm not a professional at anything, but when you're a professional in sport, like boxing or surfing or track and field or whatever, I think it's a natural compulsion for people to just become really focused, to do what they need to do, hit the goals they need to hit, to reach the ultimate goal that they're trying to go for, and they become super, selfish isn't the right word, but they have to focus a lot on themselves and really strengthen their mind and really know what they're aiming for and cut out a lot of stuff along the way, so they focus towards that goal. Ryan Hardy is not like that. He's if anything, he's like the opposite. He tries to sense and learn what you're like as a person and what motivates you, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and he feeds a lot on that, and he tries to fit within that space and get on your level. And I haven't found that with a lot of people that I know, full stop. He's a really special dude. I'm kissing a lot of ass here. Like, I'm not sponsored by Ryan Hardy, by the way. I'm not paid by Ryan Hardy. I'm not his payroll, but I just think he's a really cool dude. It's one of the reasons why I keep going back to the Bali bodyboarding camps, because I just like hanging out with him and surfing with him, surfing with Aiden and with the guests that I run into there as well. Okay, so thanks for the questions, guys. I'm going to move to the next topic, which is coronavirus. What's going to happen after we get past this? Like, let's say, fingers crossed, 2 months time, 3 months time, infection rates across the world starts to drop off, and we start to be allowed to come out of our cages and get back out into the surf and stuff. What's Willy POV going to do in that time? I've already started researching some international trips that I want to hit up straight away after this whole travel ban stuff and the coronavirus stuff dies down. So I'm really liking the idea of finding like another camp like Bali bodyboarding, and I'll tell you why. Like I'm hunting for camps rather than just trying to do like an adventure solo by myself. Yeah, like finding another camp, maybe in Puerto Rico, maybe in Samoa, maybe in Indonesia, somewhere outside of Bali, like Java, West Java, somewhere else, Mentawai, something like that. Maybe Morocco, I don't know. But I've got a lot of random countries on my list of camps that I'm currently researching. I'm talking to people right now, and yeah, that's probably going to be what I'm going to seriously start hunting for. Second half of this year, find a trip that I can just get out all this sort of like pent up frustration of not surfing for so long, and meeting up with a whole bunch of different people again from different backgrounds and surfing in a new location completely new to me. So yeah, I'm on the market. If you guys have tips for camps that are not really well known, but that might be pretty sick, in places outside of Australia, in Asia, in Europe, in the US, wherever, I'm keen. Feel welcome to drop your comments and let me know about it. Hit me up on Instagram. I do read as much as I can of the messages that you share with me on Instagram, but yeah, that's what I'm focused on, looking for camps and that sort of thing. In fact, in my content, my YouTube content in April and in May as well, I'm thinking of posting a video of like the results of my research, like the top 5 bodyboarding camps that I'm most keen to visit after coronavirus, something like that. I don't know. What do you think? If that sounds interesting, let me know in the chat, and yeah, I'll use that as sort of like the pulse to see whether a video like that is worthwhile, along with some other videos too that you suggest to me. Yeah, so jumping back into the comments, I'm gonna have a look at what you're saying. Anyone now? WL Gaming says, anyone now? Any go? What did you say? I think you're asking about bodyboarding spots in Perth. I haven't been to Perth. I haven't been to Western Australia yet. I do plan on going sometime. I would love to surf Mandy Wedge. That looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I don't know many other waves. This is the thing. I was talking about Western Australia and Margaret River with a couple of mates I ran into in the surf a few weeks back, and we're both thinking the same thing, that just flying out to Margaret River, finding an Airbnb and just like exploring for waves there feels like a really cool and fun thing to do. But I just don't have any intel. Like, well, I was telling my mate that, you know, we don't really know Western Australia that well, and it's hard. It's like talking to people, looking in the right spots and stuff, trying to figure out the conditions and that sort of thing. It's hard to do that from scratch. So that's probably the one thing that's making me hesitate to visit Western Australia sooner rather than later. It's just going to take time to build up a little bit of local knowledge and that sort of thing. But yeah, I would like to go there sometime, Perth and Margaret River especially. Yeah. Let's see. Rainier, Luke. Everyone want to see Willy do the wedge. Give a hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want to do the wedge too. I know I'm gonna get, when I eventually go to the wedge in Newport, and I will, by the way, like that's definitely gonna happen. I can just foresee I'm gonna get seriously hurt. Like, it's not a trip I'm going to survive without getting some scars or some kind of injury. I can just tell now. My ability, my reaction time, and my ability to read a wave is really, really bad. And when I go to a new location, to a new wave, the only way I've been able to learn how to properly pick my line and to drop in and to know when to start pulling in, where to slow down the wave, is to make mistakes and get trashed over and over and over again, often getting hurt quite seriously along the way. In the waves that I've ridden so far, most of the waves have allowed me to do that without getting seriously messed up, except for Shark Island. That was a big no-no. I think the wedge is another one of those ways where you're not going to get very many chances. and because of that, I know I'm going to get hurt. But yeah, I'm going to go. It's going to be fun. Sure. Craig Phoenix, if you ever come back to California, you have a place to stay. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. I'd love to get shacked up with someone on. No, I'm going to wind back what I just said there. It sounds a little bit odd. But yeah, thanks for the offer. I appreciate that. Cruz in the coast. Hey, Cruz, haven't seen you in a long time, man. Yeah, I know I haven't been down to Cronulla for a while. We've been out of touch, but I hope to get there sometime in the near future. Hopefully back out there at the island on a calm day. Fun fact, a few weeks back, I was actually checking out the island on the way back from surfing another wave around Cronulla. I was there in the morning. It was like a very east day. It was about 2 to 3 foot, so not too big, and it was about mid-morning when I was checking it, and that was the sort of like, the conditions that I wanted. I didn't want it too big. I wanted it a little bit sketchy though, because that means that there won't be too many people out there, and it'll just be like, people sitting on surge and stuff, and people who are really, really keen. But it was too sketchy. It was just way too sketchy. I got flashbacks of me seriously injuring my knee again and tearing up my PCL and my MCL. So I skipped that, and I just went further south. I surfed a wave an hour away down south from Cronulla instead. So yeah, but I'll be back. I'm definitely keen. Provided that the whole coronavirus situation settles the heck down later on this year, I will surf the island again later on this year. That's, I promise you that. Let's see. Just gonna scroll down, see if there's any other more worthwhile questions before we move on. Willy Cam Kellaway says Willy Tensor wants to get in touch with you're keen. I don't know who Tensor is. Yeah, but sure, hit me up Instagram. I don't know what Tensor wants to, hook up with me about, but yeah, sure, I'll be happy to, take a message, reply, that sort of thing. See how that goes. Okay, so I think the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is how I'm doing through this whole COVID situation and what I've been doing to fill up my days and stuff. So yeah, it's a tough time for everyone, right? And I think a lot of you guys are like me, that you're in a country where the government is saying that you can't go outdoors unless it's absolutely essential, unless you're like buying groceries and stuff, and you can't hang out in a crowd and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of that, a lot of countries make that apply to surfing and bodyboarding too. I mean, simple fact, like all the beaches on the east coast of Australia are pretty much shut down. So that means I'm not going to be surfing a whole lot. I haven't been surfing, and I'm not going to be surfing a whole lot. The videos I'm going to post on my channel throughout April are from just that 1 week of surfing that I got in after I got back from Bali, at the very start of March. So that's the only surfing that you're probably going to see on my channel for a while. So I'm sorry about that, but we'll have plenty of other cool content, so don't worry. So in the meantime, I've been working from home. Yes, I have a job. I'm not just some vagrant that drives around in a van and just randomly surfs whenever I want. I don't have that kind of luxury, although I have seen some theories go around on my Instagram comments, on my YouTube videos too, that suggest that you guys think that I'm just some surfing or bodyboarding gypsy that does that. So I don't have the money or the skill or the determination to sustain that kind of lifestyle. I work. I do my HR manager job at home remotely. When I'm not working, what am I doing? I am actually doing a lot of work on my YouTube channel. Like, now is the time I've really had a chance to go through the comments from all my past videos, look at my Instagram, do the research I mentioned that I said I was doing on future surfing trips and stuff. Talking to some organizers of some camps of places I want to visit in the future. So that's kind of been what I've been doing. Spending a bit of time with my family. Been watching a lot of Netflix and playing some video games as well. Netflix shows I've been diving into lately have been, number one, Westworld Season 3. Oh my gosh, if you have not seen the TV series Westworld, you darn well should. It is so good. It's like a modern day Game of Thrones, that kind of mystery, intrigue, and a suitable level of tasteful violence that I like in a TV series. So Westfield, definitely recommend you watch that. I've also been going through the latest season of Better Call Saul, because I am a Breaking Bad fan through and through. So I had to get on the follow-up series of that, and been really enjoying following that series too. Video games. I used to be, like, when I was in high school, I used to be a super hardcore gamer, like you wouldn't believe. Like, so I was really heavily into my MMORPGs, and that stands for massively multiplayer online RPGs. If you don't know what video games are and what MMORPGs are, it's basically the one genre of game that is designed to suck you in and take away your entire life and force you to live a life online. That's pretty much the best way I could describe it to someone who doesn't really play video games. So I played a lot of MMO. I played World of Warcraft. I played a game called Ragnarok online as well, and I sunk some pretty heavy hours into that when I was in high school. But I can't do that anymore. I'm too old. I don't have enough patience for that. So I play a lot of mobile games instead. I'm playing this game called Super Mecha Champions. It's a really odd, random game. but it's basically one of those PUBG Fortnite style games where you drop out of some random bus in the sky to an island. You go and collect a whole bunch of items like weapons and equipment and stuff to make yourself sick, and you go around, you gun down hopefully 99 other players so you can finish the last person standing. And I'm not very good at that either, but it helps pass the time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Working, playing games, spending time with family, watching Netflix and TV and stuff, and and planning what I'm going to do for my next series of content on YouTube. So yeah, things have been good. Let's jump into some of your questions and comments. And if you guys have anything else that you think I should be talking about, those are the main 3 things I wanted to tell you about today. The the content for April, plans after COVID, and what I'm doing right now during COVID, how I'm staying on the level. So we've talked about that, but if you think there's anything else I'm missing, let me know now. Let's jump into some of your questions and comments. Sean Bloxy AU again. You've got a name that just makes my eyes draw to you. I think it's a combination of your name and your profile picture. But Sean says, Willy, help us out. I don't know what setting to use for GoPro Hero 8. Oh, easy. So the idea, if you can afford it, with a recording on a GoPro is to record at the highest freaking quality possible that your hardware, that your memory card will allow. So you can preserve as much of that quality as possible in the editing process and once you finally upload it to YouTube. So that means the settings I use on my GoPro are 4K resolution, 60 frames per second. I use the Pro Tune setting, and I set the bitrate on high, and I set the color profile to just like the standard color profile, so it's the most natural as possible, so I can adjust that if needed in the editing stage. When I pull all my footage onto my computer, I use the editing software called Adobe Premiere, and I jack all the settings up to high. Like you can jack your target bit rate up to crazy amounts like 100 megabits per second, 200 megabits per second. I set mine to the maximum amount. The reason why I do that is because when you upload videos to YouTube, YouTube actually secretly compresses your videos again and takes down the quality of your videos by roughly 30 to 40%. So even though you think you've got the right kind of quality setting in Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, it's always good to jack that up even higher so you can account for how much YouTube is going to make your video look crap through its compression and stuff. So long story short, set your settings to the highest resolution that your memory card will allow on your GoPro 8. And then when you pull it into your editing software, make sure you set the bit rate, the target bit rates up as high as you can go. If this is interesting, I'm not sure how much of you guys in the chat and how much of you guys are watching record videos on YouTube on your GoPro and edit them and upload them to YouTube. But if you are interested in tips and stuff on that, and you think me making a video on that might be cool, let me know in this chat, in the comments, and Instagram too. And I can think about putting a video like that together, like optimal settings for surfers and bodyboarders to use on the GoPro in the surf. Because recording waves and recording POV footage, there is a little bit of subtle difference you need to take into account if you're filming that versus filming just a vlog on land and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm happy to share that sort of advice in the video, but I would love to know if I post a video like that people would watch it. So if you're keen, just let me know. Maiko Trioth, do you have corona yellow skin? Tad racist there, mate, but no, I don't have coronavirus, and I don't think corona is something to joke about. It's something that there are people dying, bro. People dying around the world, and people trying to get this situation under control. So yeah, you can try and diss me in other ways that's a little bit more sensitive to what's going on, but yeah, maybe lay off the corona jokes, eh? Riley Holly, have you been to Box Beach? Box Beach, is that the beach up north near Forster and stuff? Up that way? If that's what you're talking about, no. But I have been recommended to go there, and it looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to give that a try. Geek Off a Leash Gamer, hey man, how you doing? Hi from the old bloke from Wedge Fun Wave near Rockfalls. Thanks so much, man, for the donation, and thank you. Like I've been reading all of your messages. I know that you interact quite a bit with my images and stuff I post on Instagram, and I had a hell of a lot of fun at that Wedge. We should definitely do that again once we get a massive southerly swell in that area. Won't share the name of the break, of course, but man, that was a hell of a lot of fun. I want to focus on getting launched a lot higher than we did before, so that's going to be cool. James POV, favorite spot in Indo? Well, James, I haven't been to a lot of places around Indonesia proper. I've only been focused around Bali and around Nusa Lembongan. But speaking of which, my favorite wave, I guess, well, I mentioned Padang Padang. So in Bali, it's got to be on the mainland Bali. Padang Padang is my favorite because it's just a lovely, long, hollow left-hander with a couple of different sections and an end bowl. Works really well on low tide as well. So if you go on low tide, although you will get cut to ribbons if you mess up on low tide, there's not many people out on low tide. So it's mainly lids out there, many bodyboarders. But yeah, really fun wave. I love that one. And it's the one wave in Bali, and this is Padang Padang, by the way, guys, that I got like literally the best backdoor barrel that I've ever gotten in my life. It wasn't much compared to like, what, a lot of other people get, but to me, coming out of that backdoor barrel, that foamy backdoor barrel, I think you know what I'm talking about. It's in my 2018 Bali bodyboarding series. But yeah, that was really, really exhilarating. So Padang Padang number one on the Bali mainland. The second most favorite wave I've ridden in Bali off the mainland was I would have to say Lacerations in Nusa Lembongan. Super crowded wave, and if that was the same wave in my local hometown in Australia, I probably wouldn't ride it that often because I just hate crowds. I like to surf alone where I can. And just run into people and meet new people when I'm out in the surf. But yeah, like if the crowds aside, it's just such a beautiful wave. Like the coral underneath, it's like a little jungle of stuff that can cut you to shreds and fish, and it's beautiful. It's got a beautiful reefy bottom. And just the way that the wave hollows out progressively as you go down the line. And the fact that you need to get out on a boat to go there, so it's just like a random patch of reef, a few hundred meters from the shore. I love places like that. It's got the right level of sketchiness and fun, and how beautiful the wave is overall. That makes it sort of like one of my favorite waves in Indo. Again, I hope that answers your question. But yeah, I have a tendency to take a long time to answer some of your questions, but I hope that's okay. Let's get into a couple more questions. Oh my gosh, we've been going for almost an hour now. Are you guys, is this interesting content? Is this interesting to you? I've just been blabbing on and stuff, but yeah, I hope this is, you find this, you're finding at the very least that this live stream has been a good vibe, and some of your questions are being answered, and it's fun. Yeah, I hope I'm not boring you to death. So I'm just a little bit conscious about that. But yeah, a couple more questions before we wrap up, I think, because yeah, if we get into 2 hours, then you guys might get sick of me from the first live stream. Ryan Mays, Ryan Mays asks, have you been to the Gold Coast? I have been to the Gold Coast, but I haven't surfed the Gold Coast. I've been to the Gold Coast on family vacations and stuff. I've lied on the beach, and I've gone to the Great Barrier Reef, and I almost threw up on the speedboat on the way to the Great Barrier Reef to snorkel on the Great Barrier Reef. But I haven't surfed there. But I would like to go there sometime, because the footage of Kira that we got when tropical cyclone Uesi came through. Oh my gosh, that place reminded me of Skeleton Bay in Africa. man, you guys got some pretty sick waves on the Gold Coast, so I'll definitely need to visit there sometime, and I do plan to go there. But it just takes a while to get there, and you got crowds that stress the hell out of me. So I need to get myself in the right mental space to get into the the Gold Coast level of crowds that you have there. Mr. King of Sports, thank you so much for the donation, man. Appreciate that. You mentioned that Willy blocked Jaden Wilkinson. He's hella mean. Oh, okay. If I see his name come up, I guess I'll check it out and block him. But yeah, thanks for the donation. Appreciate that. The Outdoors says, have you been to Tasmania? No, I have not. But I know what you're thinking when you ask that question. And it's going to be a long time, if I ever surf Shipsterns Bluff. Like, come on, guys. You can't be recommending me that wave. You're going to get me killed. That looks dangerous as hell. I've got a couple of mates who have surfed that wave before. I'm not sure if some of you guys know this name, but there's this mate of mine called Edgar Cholo. He's a charger from, I think, either Portugal or Brazil, but he lives in Cronulla now. He often charges Shark Island and stuff, but he charges gnarly waves all around the world, including Shipsterns Bluff. And yeah, he's like 5 times the man that I am. And I don't think, until I get to that level of manliness, until my balls grow that big, I don't think I can charge that wave. So sorry. But yeah, if there are other waves that pop up on my radar on Tasmania, in Tasmania, then maybe I'll consider it. But there are not many other reasons that are motivating me to go to Tasmania at this moment. Although I did hear you have some really great scallop pies over there, some scallop seafood pies. So maybe I'll just visit Tasmania for your pies. Back into the questions. Paddy Weathers, can you make a tip video for beginner boogie boarder or quickly talk about now how to duck dive? Paddy, if you rewatch this live stream at the start, I think around about the 20-minute mark, I do talk quite a bit about how I, grown to duck dive a little bit better lately. And if I get more people asking me about it, I might create a separate video. But yeah, the headline of that is that just focus on getting your board as deep into the water as possible and as level into the water as possible so it doesn't move around much, because your board is very buoyant, and if it stays at the surface of the wave when you're duck diving, the wave's going to take you back and it's going to pull you back in and get smashed. So push your board down with your arms, compensate with your knee as well as it tilts back up from the backside, and that should help a little bit. But I talk heaps about it at the start of this live stream. Louis Hasler asks, thoughts on science bodyboards? I don't know, man. I've never ridden a science bodyboard before. No, correction. I borrowed someone's science bodyboard when I was over at the Bali bodyboarding camp in March. They performed like a bodyboard. I couldn't really tell much of a difference between that and my Hardy shape, though I will say that it was quite buoyant. Like, I don't know if it's because like the deck is like a millimeter or two thicker than the Hardy shape. Maybe not, but I remember it being a little bit more buoyant because I had more success trying to stand up on that bodyboard than I did my Hardy shape, which is very random way of measuring how good the science bodyboard is. But look, a lot of people tell me that science bodyboards are good, man. Like, they go fast, especially the Tanya Daniel, not sure what the exact name is, but the Tanya template, the Tanya Signature Series bodyboard, that goes fast. The Launch series of science boards, they go fast too. That's what people tell me. So I will probably try it in the future, but I've got other boards to try at the moment. Like, I'll quickly show you. So I ride my Hardy shape. I've got my QCD custom over there, and I've just recently got this bodyboard in the mail today. I took the stamp off, so you can't really tell what it is, but sound off in the chat. Like, let me know in the chat if you know what this bodyboard is. What brand? Oh shit! any hints, any ideas on what this bodyboard is, guys? Not many people are saying what they think this bodyboard is. They're just telling me to go to South Africa and stuff. Thurman Merman says that this is a Houston. No, nice try. Louis and Logan say, is it an NMD? No, nice try. A lot of people saying NMD. Thurman says Hubbard. No. You guys might not get this. I might have to show you a little bit. Hey, L Clonkus, Found Bodyboards. Yes, that's right. Found board logo right here. So for people who don't know, Found Bodyboards is a company set up by Mitch Rawlins. So he's, Mitch Rawlins, another legend of the bodyboarding sport, still competes, still gets out into competitions and that sort of thing. And this is his Mitch Rawlins MR LTD Super series, I think. So so it's got a crescent tail, which is nice and nice for holding your line in steep barrels and that sort of thing. He likes, I know Mitch Rawlins likes bat tails. So 2 of the 3 models that he has currently available are actually bat tails. And bat tails are good for transitioning from rail to rail. They're loose, meaning that when people say loose, like a bodyboard is loose, it means that it's a little bit more difficult to hold a line, hold your rail in the wave, because it disengages, your rail disengages from the wave pretty easily. So really easy for spins and turns and stuff on the wave. Sorry, I don't have a bat tail, so it's a bit hard to show you, but imagine that there's like a bump here. A bat tail, because it has like a bump here, it actually means that there's more volume on your bodyboard. There's more foam on your bodyboard. So your bodyboard is more buoyant, and it tends to go faster and catch waves a little bit easier as a result. So if that's your thing, then Found Bodyboards has a couple of different models like that. But I choose to go with a more straight template, a crescent tail, and a shorter board as well. This is a 41-inch rather than a 42, which is a 42-inch I tend to ride a lot more of. But yeah, the reason for this is that, okay, sorry, I've got, every time I start answering a question, I've got like a story that connects with that and another story. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to try this Found board and to try out getting a shorter board is that when I visited Cronulla 3 weeks ago, and I went to a reef out there, which I will not name, I ran into a couple of new friends now. So a couple of other bodyboarders out there on this wave. We had this reef to ourselves for 4 to 5 hours straight, and we were surfing and stuff and having a good old time. We tried switching our bodyboards for a bit, and one of my mates, he had this 40-inch turbo bodyboard. And for people who don't know what turbo is, they're it's like a 15-year-old bodyboard brand that's been discontinued. They went out of business. And so his board was literally over a decade old. It was short, it was battered, it was like really rigid and stuff. But I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. So I got on this board, I pulled into a wave, and I got like the deepest barrel, one of the deepest barrels that I've ever gotten in my life. I don't know what it was, but just because the board was smaller, it forced myself to tuck in my arms a lot more and stay really nice and compact. Because if I held my board with my regular stance, I would have been off the board. But it forced me to hold in my elbows really, really tight and stuff as I dropped into the barrel. And I think that was why it was probably the best scoop I've ever done. I slotted into the right line, and I just shot out and got spat out of a barrel in the best way that I've ever gotten in my life. And on that particular reef as well, goes without saying. I am super keen to show you that video. Sure, there's going to be better barrels out there, and it might not compare to some of the barrels that you guys have ever gotten, but for me, it's like literally the best barrel I've ever gotten in my life. So that's why I wanted to try a shorter bodyboard, and that's why I picked up this little puppy here, which I'm keen to try, but I'm probably not going to get a chance to try her for another 2 to 3 months. So it's probably going to get a little bit of dust before I get to have my first surf with it. Okay, let's try 2 more questions. We're running into a little bit of overtime, but 2 more questions. So let's pick out some juicy ones. Let's go with Max Willis. Max Willis, have you ever been to South Africa? A lot of you guys are asking me, have you ever been to, blank? But I'll pick this one out because South Africa is a place I haven't been to, but is a place I'm super, super keen to go. It's because my South African friends that live on the Central Coast, which is where I live. So I think I've answered some of your questions there. Some South African buddies that I sometimes surf with on the Central Coast, the way they talk about South African waves, man, oh my gosh, like apparently South Africa picks up swell from everywhere, super consistent, and you've got Skeleton Bay tucked in there somewhere, which is definitely a bucket list wave that I'm not ready for yet, I don't think. Like, I think if I go there, I'll snap my neck, and that'll be the end of the Willy POV channel and stuff. And it's either that or I go there and I get skunked and I waste thousands of dollars going there for no reason. So yeah, I think I need a little bit more experience and local knowledge before I make the trek out to South Africa, but I do want to go. Yeah, South Africa, love to go. I think I saw a question there, a couple of questions. Do I know Lily Pollard? No, I know of Lily Pollard. I know she's a sick bodyboarder. I know she visited Cronulla with Ryan Hardy a couple of months back. I was actually invited to join that sort of clinic to kind of catch up with the locals in Cronulla when Lily and Ryan were there. But I thought, if you got 2 superstars like Ryan and Lily, why crowd their, why crowd their mojo? I just want to give them their space to, actually focus on teaching people how to bodyboard properly, whereas I'd go there and teach people how to wipe out and kook stuff. So yeah, I know of Lily. Would love to meet her in person sometime. I hear she's cool, but yeah, I haven't met her in person yet. And last question, let's see. Will Hugh Huiz, Hawaii, question mark 50 times. Yes, I want to go to Hawaii. My wife and my kids want to go to Hawaii. So maybe this is something that you've asked in the past, but yes, I am married. I am hitched. I do have children. They all want to go to Hawaii. So that's pretty perfect. If you're like a married guy, or if you've got a girlfriend or that sort of thing, if your partner is telling you that they want to go to a place that has good waves, then that's sort of like a free license to go ham, right? So that's Hawaii is definitely on my bucket list. I'm currently in sort of like a research phase of Hawaii, trying to figure out, is the North Coast the place I want to go, or any other coastal areas I want to go there first. I've heard Sandy's, Waimea Bay, a whole bunch of names thrown about, names of breaks thrown about Hawaii, some reefs there too. I would love to catch up with a fellow YouTuber there called Ride the Flow. Ride the Flow. It's a YouTube channel. He posts Hawaiian content. Not so much anymore. I haven't seen him post a whole lot of stuff in the last many months now. But he seems to know some pretty cool breaks there, so I might hook up with him. And I was going to suggest we do a collab if I ever go to Hawaii. I know plenty of you guys in the chat also live in Hawaii and have offered to, for me to crash at your place and to show me around and stuff. So, but yeah, just long story short, I'm super keen. I'm super keen to, visit Hawaii and check that place out. So yeah, chat's going crazy. You guys, it's 10 minutes past the hour now, and I could literally stay on for another hour or 2 or more. I've got so much more I want to tell you, but I think it's a little bit more sensible to pace this out and share a lot more with you next time. So I'm going to go through and back through the live chat offline and pick out what are some other questions that I might have missed, some things that that people have said that might not have had a chance to have had their questions answered by me. And hopefully I'll have a bit of like a topic list to set up for our next video. Yeah, so thank you so much for dialing into my first live stream. Hope you all enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So I'm really keen to do this again if you guys want to. So if you guys want to, please drop me a you or a shaka in the chat. And we will definitely, yeah, buddy, Cruz, yeah, buddy. We'll definitely do this again next week if you're all keen. I'll pull out some of your ideas as well that you've left me on new content for April and for May. And if you guys can give me a little bit of help and intel on places that you think I should be visiting after this whole coronavirus situation dies down, then feel free to share that with me on Instagram and in the chat here as well. Of course, there might be times when I could sneak out for a surf once it starts pumping again, like, and find a quiet break and that sort of thing to do that. But I think the more sensible thing to do is just to bunker down and do my bit to, show support for the people that are doing the right thing, that have no choice but to quarantine, to bunker down. They might have even you guys, some of you guys might have relatives or yourselves that might have come into contact with corona and that sort of thing. So to show my support, I'm going to, abstain and not bodyboard for a while. But I'm going to double down and make sure I find more ways to connect with you guys, talk about the thing I love with you guys, which is bodyboarding and surfing, and we can chill here and have a good time. So thanks once again. Peace out, folks. I'll see you all next week. Bye.